and welcome to Books and Bubbly. I'm Stephanie, and this is the playlist where I talk about books I love while sipping something bubbly. And today I'm reviewing Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So let's take a look at back cover copy before we get into the review. Nora Stevens' life is books, and she's read them all, and she is not that type of heroine. Not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, for whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent, and her beloved little sister, Libby. Which is why she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina, for the month of August when Libby begs her for a sister strip away. With visions of a small-town transformation for Nora, who she's convinced needs to become the heroine in her own story. But instead of picnics in meadows, or run-ins with handsome country doctor, or a bulging four-armed bartender, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie Lastra, a bookish, brooding editor from back in the city. It would be a meet cute, if not for the fact that they've met many times, and it's never been cute. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again, in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. So let's dive into the review, and fair warning, I will be spoiling things from the book. So I do have to be upfront and say that this review won't be as bubbly as some of my others on this playlist, as I definitely had a few more nitpicks about this one. But for the most part, I really did like this book. I really think it is a great read, and I am excited to read more by Emily Henry. So to start, I really love this book. Really loved it. Until about page 250. And that's when I realized it was a tad longer than it should have been. And the only way to stretch it out for another 100 pages was going to involve some sort of manufactured conflict, or worse, a miscommunication. I think if the book had been trimmed down and focused more on the relationship between Nora and Charlie, it would have been a full-on 5-star read for me. And that's coming from someone who typically doesn't shop the romance category. The first 200 pages, I thought I found a new favorite, much like when I first started reading Sophie Kinsella. I will definitely be giving Emily Henry another shot, mostly because I already own People We Meet on Vacation and plan on reading it while I'm on vacation. But I do have to say that in this one, I was a bit bored, kind of, by the end of the book. I also didn't like that Nora was described as like a shark and total ice queen, but we don't really see it. I just felt like we were told a lot about how bitchy and cruel Nora is, but then people love working with her, are telling her how great she'd be at this certain job, and that she can handle wimpy clients like Dusty with no problem. Like, not buying it. Okay, I'm done ranting. It's time to start raving about what I did love about it, and to make sure that it got onto this playlist instead of my wine club one. So, to start off, I loved the playful banter between Nora and Charlie, and just kind of how they understood and got each other when others didn't. They could truly be themselves, and the other was all in. Their quips and witty comebacks were fantastic. I mean, I cackled and laughed and loved it all. Though I will say the book promised rivals to lovers, and they were never really rivals. They met once at a lunch that didn't go well, and then come across each other 2 years later. Rivals that does not make. Like, even the back cover copy, like, they're talking about, it would be a meet cute if not for the fact that they've met many times and it's never been cute. We don't see that. We really only see their first meeting, and then it skips a couple years, and then it's really throwing them into the romance, which, it's fine, but, like, that's not what was promised on the back. But their dialogue was, I loved it. So I did have a few tabs of sections that I did love. So to start us off, on page 79, so I look toward the sexy TV bartender. Another enemy of yours? His eyes darken, his mouth doing that grimace twitch. Is that what we are? Do you send all your enemies Bigfoot erotica, or just the special ones? Oh no, I say, feigning pity. Did I hurt your feelings, Charlie? You seem pretty pleased with yourself, he says, for a woman who just found out she was the inspiration for Cruella de Vil. I scowl at him. Charlie rolls his eyes. Come on, I'll buy you a martini. Or a puppy coat. Then another section I tabbed for their dialogue. So we're on page 87. I smooth my hair like I can tuck any exposed secrets back into place. Actually, the last couple of days have been a refreshing break from all the surly monochromatic New York literary types. Charlie's head tilts, his lids heavy. Do you know you do that? Do what? I say. His fingers brush the right corner of my mouth. Get a divot here, when you lie. I slap his hand out of the air, but not before all the blood in my body rushes to meet his fingertips. That's not my lying divot, I lie. That's my annoyed divot. On that note, he says dryly, how about a game of high-stakes poker? Fine, I take another slug of beer. It's my lying divot. Sue me. I miss New York, and it's too quiet here for me to sleep. And I'm very disappointed that the general store is actually a pawn shop. Is that what you want to hear, Charlie? That my vacation is not off to an auspicious start? I'm always a fan of the truth, he says. And then another one that I really liked. So page 104. So Charlie's giving her a horseback ride, or a piggyback ride, after they've been out together. Awfully quiet back there, Stevens, he says. Anything I can do to make your journey more comfortable? A neck pillow? Some of those tiny Delta cookies? I'd take some spurs and a riding crop, I say. Should have seen that coming, he grumbles. I'd also accept a sworn affidavit that we will never speak of this again. After the way you disparaged my last contract, I don't think so. When we reach the front steps, I slide off Charlie's back and try to pull my dress back into place, which is a struggle because I didn't do an amazing job of keeping the umbrella over us, and we're both fairly drenched. My dress plastered to my thighs and bangs stuck to my eyes. Charlie reaches out to brush them away. Nice haircut, by the way. Straight men love bangs, I say. They make women approachable. Nothing more intimidating than a forehead, he says. Although I sort of miss the blonde. The nothing more intimidating than a forehead just made me laugh. And then another one that I really liked. So we're on page 122. He swipes the book off the counter. You really buying this? I like to support local businesses. Good books isn't so much a local business as it is a financial sinkhole, but I'm sure the tunnel inside the earth appreciates your money. Excuse me, I say, did you just say this place is called Good Books, as in your mother's last name, but also Good Book? City people, he tuts, never stop to smell the roses or look up to see the very prominently displayed signs over local businesses. I wave a hand. Oh, I have the time. It's just that the Botox in my neck makes it hard to get my chin up that high. I never met someone who is both so vain and so practical, he says, sounding just barely odd. Which will actually be what goes on my headstone. What a shame, he says, to waste all that on a pig farmer. You're really hung up on the pig farmer, I say. Whereas Libby won't be satisfied with me dating anyone but a widowed single father who rejected a country music career to run a local bed and breakfast. He says, so, you've met Randy. And then the last one of their just quips and back and forth, so page 238. He blinks a few times. It's like watching his consciousness swim to the surface. Obviously, I like the book. I begged to work on it, remember? I'll remember you begging until my last dying breath. He looks abruptly to the screen, all business, and it feels like my heart is taking on water. The pages are great, he says. The perky physical therapist is a good foil to Nadine. But I think by the end of this section, she needs more depth. I wrote that too! I'm immediately self-conscious about my teacher's pet. I just aced a quiz voice when I see Charlie's face. What? He squelches a smirk. Nothing. Not nothing, I challenge. That's a face. I've always had one, Stevens, he says. Fairly disappointing you just noticed. I really like their back and forth. I think it really works. I mean, even her dialogue with her sister was pretty great. I tabbed a few pieces with her and Libby. So on page 65, you say no, I say, and then the next time I'm babysitting, I'll just hand over the dye and clippers. Afterward, I'll teach them how to roll a joint, like the sexy, cool, fun Aunt I am. Libby snorts. You wish you knew how to roll a joint. God, I miss weed. The maternity books never prepare you for how badly you're going to miss weed. Sounds like there's a hole in the market, I say. I'll keep an eye out. The Pothead's Guide to Pregnancy, Libby says. Marijuana Mommy, I reply. And its companion, Doobie Daddies. I think she and Libby have really great play off each other as well. And then the scene when they go to the local theater production just slayed me because I can totally see me and my sister doing the same thing. So on page 211, Libby giggles, hooking an arm around me. Come on, the tickets are general admission, and I want to get popcorn and good seats. I'm not sure there's such a thing as good seats when you're choosing from rows of folding chairs in a school gymnasium. The stage is elevated, meaning we'll be craning our necks for the length of the play. But as soon as the house lights drop, it's clear the seating arrangement is the least of this production's issues. "Oh my God," Libby whispers, gripping my arm as an actor shuffles out in front of the painted apothecary backdrop. He wanders to the prop counter and gazes wistfully at a framed picture there. "No," I whisper. "Yes," she hisses. Old Man Whitaker is being played by a child. "What about the drug abuse?" Libby says. "What about the overdose?" I say. "He can't even be 13, right?" Libby whispers. "He has the voice of a 10-year-old choir boy." Someone harumphs near us, and Libby and I sink in our chairs, chastened. At least until Mrs. Wilder, the owner of the lending library, comes onto the stage and I have to turn my bark of laughter into a cough. Libby wheezes beside me. "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." She's not looking at the stage, just staring at her feet and trying not to explode. I drop my voice next to her ear. "What do you think the age gap is between these actors? 68 years? She clears her throat to keep a handle on her would-be laughter. The woman playing Mrs. Wilder could easily be Old Man Whitaker's grandmother. Hell, maybe she is. Maybe little Delilah Tyler will be played by the family Rottweiler, I whisper. Libby flings herself forward over her belly, hiding her face as her shoulders quake with silent laughter. Another dirty look from the woman to our right. "Sorry," I mouth. "Allergies." She rolls her eyes, looking away. Into Libby's ear, I whisper. "Uh-oh, Whitaker's mommy is mad." She bites my shoulder like she's trying not to scream. On stage, little boy Whitaker grabs his back and winces out the F word at the pain of his character's chronically pinched nerves. Libby squeezes my hand so hard it feels like she might break it. "It is very clear," she whispers haltingly, "that small bearded child has yet to experience physical pain." "The boy has yet to experience the dropping of his testicles," I reply. As if to disprove this, his next line sends his voice lurching, cracking into the squeak that makes Libby scrunch her eyes shut and cross her legs. "I will not pee myself." We stare at our feet, erupting into silent shivers of laughter every few minutes. It's the most fun I've had in years. Whatever else is happening, with Brendan, with the apartment, with my sister, right now, we're us, like we haven't been for a long time. The second the play ends, Libby and I sprint out. So, again, I just think their mix is also really great. Their relationship is good. It's really great. And I loved that she had that relationship with her sister and wanting to keep it as close like it was when they were younger. I totally get that. I could really relate. It's honestly one of my biggest fears that my sister will move away, as we're super close and see each other every week. Their sisterhood in this book felt real. Like, again, I died during the scene when they go to the community theater and they're both doing their best not to laugh at the absurdity of the production, as I could totally see me and my sister living that out. It was also interesting to see how different Nora and Libby viewed their childhood and their mother and her choices. You can come from the same family, but view the members very differently. Though Libby getting annoyed with Nora and her job did kind of start to rub me the wrong way throughout the book, especially given that Nora likes her job. Like, if this was a Devil Wears Prada situation, I could see Libby trying to step in to save Nora from herself, but it really wasn't. It more just what felt like Libby was just getting annoyed with things when Nora doesn't really give her that reason to, and especially since, like, Libby spends the entire day by herself, so I don't get what her deal is. Like, if she wanted to spend more time with Nora, maybe don't push her away as much during the rest of the day. But, I don't know. That said, I did like that Nora had other things and relationships going on in her life, rather than just waiting for Mr. Right, or Mr. Lastra, as it were. Nora really felt like a real person. And moving on beyond characters, I really did like Henry's writing style. She has a way with words and dialogue, and again, she just is a really fun author. I don't want to say it's just narrowed down to chick lit, but it kind of is. I really appreciated it. I thought it was really well done. Again, a few niggles here and there, but overall, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I will be reading another one of Henry's works, as it's already on my bookshelf, and I do have high hopes for it. I'm sure if I were to go back and reread Confessions of a Shopaholic, one of my favorite comfort series, I too could find things about it that I didn't like. Overall, I'm really glad that I read Book Lovers, and I really enjoyed the reading experience with this piece. So, have you read Book Lovers by Emily Henry? Tell me what you thought of it in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on Books and Bubbly.